Hello and welcome back to Big Mood, everybody.
Oh, sexy.
It's very moody in here because we're talking about celestial things.
Celestial
things. Okay, we're talking about astrology today. Astrology.
I'm so excited for this one.
I know. Thank you. I'm excited too. But
I'm more excited though because we have Stacey.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. So I'm kind of nervous because this episode gets requested a lot, and I feel like it always gets requested at me because they're like, oh, Nikki's really into that shit. But I'm not like an expert at it, okay?
Me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Okay, like, so disclaimer, like
we're not experts.
Not fucking experts, okay? We're into it because, well,
enthusiasts.
Enthusiasts.
Intermediate level, I would even say.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. Well, great. So we'll just bounce back and forth. Also, I want a disclaimer because anytime astrology gets brought up, there's always this sector of haters that are like, how dare you talk about something not scientific? And they get very mad at you and stuff. And I'm like, listen, you need to chill. It's not that serious. No one's like in a religion they're trying to force on you or convert you to. No one's trying to use it to argue science, okay? We're just having fun. Okay?
Yeah.
And if you're into it, you're into it. And if you're not into it, move the fuck along because it's kind of fun. Okay?
but like the video first. I need something out of this.
Video. Rate us 5 stars.
Man, I'm that person. I'm just like, Nikki, you're being fucking weird. But at the same time, I'm like,
yeah, but I want to know
it's so
more.
fun though.
I know. It is fun.
When you get called out, you're like, oh my gosh, is this true?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like someone knows secrets about you and you're like,
dude, the only time I have ever felt that feeling that you just described, Stacey, was actually from you.
Really?
Yes. The only time in my life I ever felt like that was a Sagittarius thing, because you were like, you're just like my sister, it's such a Sagittarius thing, and I forgot what it was.
What did you do?
I don't remember.
You're probably super blunt and honest.
Oh, was it? No. It was something about me taking something literal.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a
And
Sag
then,
thing.
Yeah, see that, and I was like,
for sure.
What? My mind blew. I was
yeah.
like, that's a thing that I do, and it's not even because of me. It's because of the stars. I was just like, what?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've seen some things where I'm just like, all right, calm down. Like on Twitter, somebody was like, oh, it's fucking, if you take pictures with your hand on your face all the time, that means you're a Capri Sun. And I'm just like, you're fucking dumb, dude. But you know,
a Capri Sun.
But you know, sometimes I like to read it, and sometimes you guys read me, and I'm just like, oh.
You know why I never really took it serious, like past me thinking like this is dumb, is because every time I read anything about Sagittarius, it almost never applied to me. So I'm like, this is dumb. Like this makes no sense. It's either that or it's extremely generic where I'm like, literally anyone can be this.
Well, yes, we will
broad.
get to that. First of all, you should make sure that maybe you're not a Sagittarius. Maybe like your mom lied to you about your birthday. So check on that.
Whoa.
You gotta make sure you got the right birthday there.
I'm not David. 'Cause David he didn't have his proper birthday and stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because he was born in Korea. When he came, they added a year, whatever.
Also,
He don't remember anyone's birthday. I'm just put that out there right now.
That's old, Gina.
Colin Davidson.
Get over it.
What is he?
He's an Aries.
That's such an Aries thing.
An Aries? Really?
I only know that because he told me he was an Aries, and I was like, oh, I'm an Aries too. And then he was like, yeah. And then I was like, yeah, you're angry. You are an Aries.
He is an angry.
Too much
angry
fire.
man.
You know, I love Aries women, but Aries guys, I'm always like, stop.
I've never dealt with one except for David, but like superficially. Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize.
See, that too, like remembering dates and then knowing people's signs, and then on top of that remembering what traits each sign has. I'm like, that's exhausting.
Okay, so here's where I feel like people take it too far. When people use it to be like, oh, I'm not going to interact with you because you're that sign.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Or
That's
when,
like a religion.
yeah,
at that point.
Exactly. You're going too far into like making this your dogma. Or when they're like, well, I can't help it. I'm a Scorpio and that's just what we do. Like you're not letting your shitty behavior be taken accountable for. Like you're just like letting it be up to the stars that you are an asshole. Right. Okay, so I don't like that. I'm putting that out there too. But I wanted to know, because whenever this does get requested, I wanted to know what exactly is it that you guys are interested in, especially the ones right here that are like, I think it's dumb. Like, what do you want to know then?
What interests you?
What interests you about
Honestly,
it?
for me personally, I'm the most curious to know, like, what, like in a general sense, what does my sign mean to people? Because like I said, every time that I have read anything about my astrology, it never really applies to me. So I'm like, then what is the general sense of a Sag?
Okay. And Gina?
I just like taking quizzes online.
Okay, great. Such a Leo. Yeah. Just kidding. Okay, so if you want to play along, I think the most helpful thing for you to do if you're watching or listening and if you're in the room too, there's a few resources out there. You can get your whole birth chart. I think having your whole birth chart helps a lot more than just like knowing your generic sign. Because when you talk about like, oh, this is too generic, it's because it's just giving like the broad sense of your sun sign. Usually the ones in the magazines or the ones that are like, today you're gonna find a penny on the ground. That one's like, it's your sun sign. It's not meant to be that specific. There, you know.
Which one's the specific one?
Okay, so once you get
by the way,
notes.
I didn't even know there was 3 different things. I thought it was just your sign.
There's
and
a whole
that's it.
chart.
there's a whole chart full of
when
things.
you were born, the stars were aligned in a specific way
Yeah,
that
girl.
describes you.
so unique to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the sun was at a certain point, the moon,
Tell
Jupiter,
it, girl.
Venus, everything.
Mercury, Venus,
Specifically
all
for
those
you.
planets. There's 12 different celestial bodies. So all the planets, and then there's the sun and the moon and a node, whatever that is. But yeah, so the resources. My favorite, there's certain apps out there that can give you your whole birth chart for free, but you have to know the date you were born, the year where you were born, the location you were born at, and your specific birth time, because that influences your rising sign, which changes every 2 hours. So if you're off by a few hours, it's gonna significantly change your birth chart. So you got to know your birth time. That should be on your birth certificate.
Yeah.
Check your birth certificate, ask your parents, figure that out.
It is on your birth certificate. I checked for mine
There you go.
and Isaac's.
Then you can go to an app. There's several different apps. I like CoStar the best. Have you tried CoStar?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, you
The
have
one
to
I have.
try it.
Yeah,
The
same.
one I have right here.
Nice.
Because Nikki recommended
I think
it.
it's great because it breaks down into layman's terms your specific thing. So when I say like I'm not an expert, it's like I can't go into specifically what a Sagittarius is because I didn't care enough to look up Sagittarius. I'm not that, so I'm like I don't know.
No, but then you guys do tend to know other signs. So I'm
General
like,
things.
It feels
Yeah.
like you are an expert because of that reason.
Well, when you were saying like, oh my God, like it's so overwhelming knowing everything. It's not even trying to memorize it. It's just that you know certain, like you start with your family members and then your partner and then yourself. And then you're like, oh, you did do that. Or like you could even tell on people's social media, like Gina looks like a Leo through and through.
Like there's
in
certain
all her social
qualities.
media.
Hair. They're like they want to be the queens, the kings and queens.
With
They're
their
like
mane.
the king of the jungle. Their hair. Like birthdays. Leo girls fucking love their birthdays. Like the whole month is their birthday. Everybody knows it's their birthday.
Bradman Rock is a Leo. Does he not?
him.
Is he not a Leo?
Yeah.
He's like, it's my fucking birthday, bitches. Like, stop what you're doing.
DJ Khaled. Okay.
His life is all about him.
He's like, they don't want you to win.
Yeah, I'll read the Leo thing and I'm just almost like pissed. Like, all right, yeah, I guess you got something right, I suppose. And then I remember Nikki said something like she was explaining to Steve what a Leo was, and then he stops her halfway. He goes, "Wait, is Gina a Leo?" And Nikki's like, "Yep." And he's like, "Oh, I believe now."
Just describing like generally, and he was
so
like,
funny. See, that's what I want to know about Sagittarius. That's what I'm curious
and then there's
about.
certain things like there's elements. So there's water signs. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer are water signs. They're more emotional. They might be a little bit more guarded, but they're like more on the emotional side of things. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. You're all fire signs. You're all
yes, we
fiery.
are.
You can just like let things go and stuff, and maybe you'll react.
We're
like,
confrontational and we tend to be like, what? Are you going to talk about it or no? Are we going to fucking talk about it?
My Sag recently came out like this past year.
Yeah, I
and
believe
then that
you.
really came out because
Yeah.
now I'm like, let's go.
Yeah. Let's talk about it then, you little bitch.
So why don't we go through and list all of our 3 signs, and
Okay.
then we can put it on the screen
Four.
too.
Oh, 3
Oh,
each.
because
So there's
yeah.
so once you go to CoStar, enter on all your information so you can play along with us
we're
here.
not sponsored by the way.
So yeah, we're not sponsored.
Sponsor us,
You
though.
can also go to I think it's astro.com or Cafe Astrology. Those will give you your full birth chart too, so you can follow along. If you don't want to download an app right now, you can just go on a computer. But the 3 top things, the ones that affect you the most and the ones that everyone talks about, are your sun sign. That's the one you're born in. So Sagittarius, Aries,
Everyone knows
Scorpio,
it.
Leo. The moon sign is the second one, and that's your emotions. So
Your truest self, who you are to the closest people around
your
you.
soul.
You're also a Sag moon, I saw.
Oh, am I? I'm a Sag moon.
Me too. I'm a Sag moon too.
If we name out all 3, Bryce, can you put it on the screen in front of our faces so everyone can keep
Put our star signs on
put
there.
Here.
Put all 3 of them on us.
We wear it on our face.
So when people are like, wait, but what's your moon? So now you know. Like
Sag. You're also a Sag moon.
I'm double Sag.
Double
Yeah.
fire girl.
double Sag for that double vag. You know what I'm saying? Right?
I don't know. What does that mean?
Oh my God, kid.
Is that
You
a
know
good
what I'm
thing?
saying. You know what I'm saying.
All right.
And then the third one
And
is
then the third one is rising. That's how you present yourself to the world.
have
That's how
that.
people
I
see.
have ascending.
You're
Ascending is the same as rising.
Oh.
So that's when people first
Okay.
meet you, they see you as a Pisces.
Oh, what does that mean?
Yeah. So for example, when you guys first met
Emotional.
me, you saw me as an Aquarius, very friendly, very outgoing, very sweet, all good things. And then once you get to know me, like for example, my sister knows my moon sign. That's my Sagittarius. I tend to be very straightforward, very to the point, very direct, and to people in general, I'm just like an Aries, like overall, I have those
Your
qualities.
rising's Aries?
No, my Aquarius is my rising.
Oh,
That's how,
Aquarius.
like, when I first meet people, and it's like, oh, hi, how are you? Like, I'm a people person. I'm very warm, like, outgoing, entertainment,
So let me go over our archetypes then, now that we know our
It's an
three.
archetype now.
Well, each sign has an archetype. So for you, Tiff, your sun, and the best way that I heard this one sentence that makes it make so much sense. And if you're you're just letting your logic mind go, just like fucking let it go. Play along with us. So it's going to get woo woo. Okay. Astronomy is like the study of the science parts. If you're into that, go study the celestial bodies and get all the facts. Astrology is more of like the poetry, the art, the like how it resonates with you, how you engage in the world. Okay. And the best sentence I heard for incorporating these 3 elements is you take your sun sign and you're like, so I am a blank with the soul of a blank is your moon sign, wearing the mask of a blank is your rising sign. So for me, I'm a Scorpio. So Scorpio's archetype is the detective or the sorcerer or the hypnotist. So I am a sorcerer with the soul of a also Scorpio, with the soul of a detective. I don't know. And then my rising is Gemini. That's how people see me. It's performer. It's more or teacher.
2 faces? Is that the Gemini one?
People tend to say that.
That is that
Gemini
is the
stereotype.
sign for it. But it's like, communications. The teacher, the storyteller, that kind of thing. So I'm a sorcerer with the soul of a detective, wearing the mask of a teacher or wearing the mask of a storyteller.
I feel like we're about to play some Dungeons and Dragons right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring my dice out.
Except it's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like staring at that artwork behind you because it has like all the signs.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah, that's what your birth chart kind of looks like. All the signs are on the outside like that. And then you got the water, fire, air, earth. That's exactly what it looks like, except you're going to have planets in your
oh, we have it here too.
in your chart.
I just spend my life angry that my Leo sign looks like a fucking sperm.
Oh, the M?
No. The circle with the fucking tail.
Oh, I see
Oh,
it
it
now.
does.
Yeah, it does look like a sperm.
Nah, it's cute.
Mine's
He's like a
the
sperm
arrow.
that's at a disco.
I had literally never thought about that.
Wait,
Okay, so
don't know.
Tiff,
Yes.
your Sagittarius archetypes are the gypsy,
oh,
the student.
Wait,
the
gypsy, like,
philosopher.
does that mean like psychic? Like I can.
Yeah, remember like you with the crystal ball
Yes.
on
Yeah,
the
for our
JK,
game?
yeah, that JK
Light as a
game.
feather, stiff as a board.
that too.
So yeah, you have that in your sun and your moon. So gypsy, student, philosopher, and then your rising was what?
Oh,
Pisces.
Yes, Pisces.
Pisces.
So 2 Sag and 1 Pisces.
So that archetype is
It's like I'm ordering McDonald's.
the mystic, the dreamer, the poet, the face dancer. You're just all mystical.
Oh,
Yeah. So you're
I'm always concerned with like,
We'll get into
is it good or is it bad?
That's you.
and what you were Aries.
No. Aries, Sag.
Sag,
Aquarius.
Aquarius. So Aries archetypes are the warrior, the pioneer, the daredevil,
Stallion.
the survivor.
Yeah.
Yes, bitch.
Hell yeah.
Period.
I love it.
Sagittarius is your moon, is the gypsy, the student, the philosopher. And then the mask is Aquarius, which is the genius, the revolutionary, the truth sayer, the scientist, the exile.
Wow, yeah.
So that's how the world sees you.
Does it sound like me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
I live in the essence of my birth chart.
truth
I
love
dance in
it.
my birth chart.
Love that. Every time I see you tweet, I'm like, yes. I don't even got to read the whole thing. I'm just like, yeah.
What's your so you have Leo as your sun. What's your moon and rising?
I am, my moon is in Taurus. Ascendant is in Scorpio.
Ooh. Okay. That makes sense.
Wait,
Okay.
explain to us.
So your Leo is your sun. So you are the king, the queen, the performer, the child, the clown.
Does it really say that?
Yeah, it says the clown, but like I would take that as more like the performer, not like the clown.
I like to make
clown.
friends laugh.
Yeah, there we go. The king, queen. And I see you as like the queen because that picture of you with the
Oh yeah.
the
her
tiara
birthday.
on, and then your moon was
Taurus.
Taurus. So with the soul of the earth spirit, the musician, the silent one.
Oh, that is Casey, because Casey's a Taurus.
Oh yeah, he's
I'm
the
like-
silent one.
Gina's not the silent one.
She is when you try to hang out with her.
True.
I
This
just can't-
bitch
you're
is
not
always
working
on her
when you're not
phone.
working.
Yeah.
and
I'm
that's like
gone.
her closest
Yes.
friend, right? Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much MIA.
So
all
let's
the
see
time.
her
That's true.
Aquarius. I mean, her rising.
And then Scorpio.
Scorpio rising.
Is
So
what people, my mask, right?
yeah, this
So,
is
like, at
the mask-
work.
wearing the mask of the detective, the sorcerer, the hypnotist.
She's horny.
You
That's
do
all I know about
hypnotize people.
Scorpios.
Passionate, stubborn, resourceful.
Stubborn is what I recognize.
Same.
In that. Yeah.
The Taurus is stubborn, right?
Yeah, she's
That's
a
what I
moon in
learned.
Taurus. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so those are the three most important things. Like when people are discussing astrology and people are
most
like,
common.
okay, like that's your sun, but what's your rising? What's your moon? You're like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about? That's what they're talking about. That's what like, what are you presenting to the world, or how do you handle your emotions? And that's what that's what I personally like astrology for, is like it's a different conversation tool. It's like if you're in the game and you're playing with the rules and stuff, you get to like have different types of conversations. It's like, oh, that makes sense. You do this and blah blah blah. I like that stuff because it feels like someone knows me without knowing
Yeah.
me. Especially if you're a Scorpio. This has happened to me so many times because for some reason all Scorpios tend to be into astrology. For some reason, every Scorpio bitch I've ever met has been into the fact that they're a Scorpio. And so when I like had to show my ID certain places, like if they're carding me somewhere or whatever, several times if it's a girl carding me, she's like, Scorpio? I'm a Scorpio. And then we do a little high five. And I'm like, it's like a secret club. Yeah. And I'm like,
That is cute.
I hate that I hate that I like this too.
It's like having VIP membership at Starbucks. You're like, damn, I hate that.
I do have
hate that I
VIP membership
this.
at Starbucks. I have a gold card.
So I'm like, damn it.
I'm like, I hate that I like this. I'm a corporate whore. Okay, so now that you have your birth chart too, when you're reading your birth chart, if you want to go all into this, and this is just stuff that I recently learned. There's a book called, what is this book? I want to tell you about it. Hold on.
Tell us.
There's this book called The Inner Sky by Stephen Forrest that breaks down a lot of this. And I like recently watched a video of someone kind of giving me the cliff notes on it, but I ordered the book because of that video. So I know a little bit more, but I'm not an expert, okay? But here's how you read your birth chart. So the first thing you're going to look at is the planets, right? So where your planets align in your birth chart. And each planet represents a different what? Like what it like...
Yeah, I know that Venus is beauty.
Yeah, exactly.
because of
Like
this.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. And
So-
then Mars is communication.
You got the sun, which is your ego, your core self, your center personality. You got the moon, which is like your feelings, your emotion, your sensitivity. You got Mercury, which is intelligence, mind, thinking,
Oh
logic,
my God, she's a smart one in Sailor Moon. Mercury.
Mercury?
Yeah.
intelligence.
How cute.
That is cute.
It's really cool.
Venus is the beauty, the harmony, the creativity, the love. So whenever you hear about these planets being in retrograde, when people are like, Mercury retrograde, like, what does that mean? Like, it's because it appears to be going backwards in the sky, which makes the things that it's controlling go backwards. Like, it's not as good at controlling those things anymore. So when Venus, for example, the planet of beauty and harmony and love, is in retrograde, it's making all of those things not work so well here on Earth. So if you want to get your boobs done during Venus retrograde, probably going to have a botched boob job. Just be ready for that. Like, anything that enhances your beauty might not go as planned for you when Venus is in retrograde. If you want your teeth fixed, maybe you should order Candid at a time when Venus is not in retrograde. And I think right now Venus is not in retrograde at all. So you can feel free to go order Candid, who is sponsoring us today on today's episode. Candid is the place where you want to go when you want to smile quick, okay? You want a good smile, but you're like, I don't want to wait 3 years for braces like I had to do in high school with the rubber bands, and then you don't wear your retainer, it comes back. No. You're like, I need my teeth straightened now because I got to get those picks in and I don't know how to use Facetune. Okay, so Candid clear aligners are comfortable, removable, and totally invisible. Unlike wire braces where you put the little clear rubber bands and you think
they get all yellow.
It's blending in now.
Nope.
Oh, it turns all yellow when you get the white ones.
Oh, why did I think that would work?
Even with clear braces, because that's what I did. Does not
Really?
work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. But these are completely, totally invisible, so you can transform your smile without anyone noticing.
You can floss normally
Oh, yeah?
with Candid because they're removable.
Oh, yeah. I was like, how do they get through the thing? Oh, yeah, because you remove it. Yeah, okay. So your treatment is also prescribed and monitored remotely by a licensed orthodontist who's an expert in tooth movement, not some random person giving you bad advice. It's a licensed orthodontist. With Candid, your treatment includes remote monitoring by the same orthodontist who created your plan, so you never have to wonder how you're doing. You'll always know. We love that. The average Candid treatment is just 6 months. You'll start seeing results way before then and costs an average of 50% less than Invisalign. So think about it before you order. So if you're ready to take the first step towards getting your dream smile and can't wait to show it off, get started today from the comfort of your own home with Candid's risk-free starter kit and $75 off. Go to candidco.com/mood and use code MOOD. That's candidco.com/mood. Code MOOD for your risk-free starter kit and 75 doll hairs off. candidco.com/mood. Code MOOD. And then
doll hairs. So we have Stitch Fix here because for all you people who are lazy and don't want to go shopping, Stitch Fix is a personal stylist that picks out clothing for you. Wouldn't you love if every clothing store you shopped at already understood your loves, hates, and total no-go zones? Like for me, I was going to say I don't wear pink, but I have like one pink thing.
it's so cute though. It's blush.
You wear it well.
Here it is.
It's blush.
Well, there's a company that will choose your clothing for you. You go online, you take a quiz, and you tell them what you like. Me, I just say black all across the board. And they send you a box of clothing and accessories, shoes even, that you might like. And then
you could also select an option to be like, oh, I want to be more adventurous. So usually Gina will wear nothing but black, but if she decides to be adventurous, the stylist will be like, you know what, you'll look good in this. And then you get to try it out.
To get started, all you have to do is set up your profile and they'll deliver great looks personalized just for you in your colors, style, and budget. You pay a $20 styling fee for each fix, which is credited towards anything that you keep. So if you end up keeping something, the $20 goes to that. Schedule at any time. There's no subscription required. Plus, shipping, returns, and exchanges are easy and free. Yeah, they give you the bag and everything, and you just put it in there and send it back. Stitch Fix does the hard work for you, making great styles effortless for everybody, including women, men, and kids.
Nice.
Yeah. Get started today at stitchfix.com/mood. And you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. That's stitchfix.com/mood. For 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. Once again, that is stitchfix.com/mood.
All right. Back to the planets, everybody. Venus, beauty, harmony, creativity. I don't know how interesting this is for all of you, but here's the reason why these are important is because where they are in your chart is how your chart gets more specific and catered to you and not so generic like how you hate. Because it's like, oh, when you were born, Mercury was in this house and all this stuff. So this is what each planet means. Jupiter is about faith, vitality, confidence. Did I say Mars was about aggression and assertiveness?
No, you didn't.
Oh, sorry, Mars. Don't get aggressive. Mars is about like will, aggression, assertiveness, freedom, independence, self-determination.
That's God of War.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I said earlier that Mars is communication, but I meant that for Mercury.
Mercury, yes. Jupiter is about confidence, expansiveness, generosity, cheerfulness. Oh, yeah, so when Jupiter is in retrograde, like your money gets tighter. Anyway, it's not.
I have literally never heard of anything else in retrograde
Yes.
but Mercury and Venus. I've never heard of any other planets.
I never
Oh,
even
yeah.
had Venus in retrograde.
yeah,
either.
until recently.
Well, recently.
Yeah.
The
but,
problem
like,
with when the other planets go retrograde is they stay retrograde for a lot longer than Mercury, but we don't feel it as heavy as Mercury because Mercury and Venus are closer to us than the other planets.
Oh,
So-
that's why they're more important.
yeah, so they don't.
Do you ever feel those effects, Stacey? Like, do you ever feel like when the planets are in retrograde and you're like, oh yeah, this is definitely
I don't. I think I follow too much like astrology on all my social medias because I always see something going in retrograde. So I don't even read into it because then I feel like if I know about it, I'm gonna be like, oh no,
Yeah.
like, this is all going wrong.
Yeah, you don't
because
want
of
a
this.
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. So I try not to think about it, and like especially because when Mercury is gonna go in retrograde, everyone is like, oh no, Mercury is gonna go in retrograde, and I'm like, oh fuck, we're all fucked. Like, let's just all stop everything we're doing. But yeah, I don't really like to look too deep into it because I'm like, well, whatever is gonna happen is gonna happen, and I just have to deal with it.
Yeah, you have to kind of approach it that way. I think that it's a good like if you want to like think about it as like a warning thing. I liked using them as reminders, but not necessarily something to control my life. So like you should be extra careful when reviewing things anyway, right? But we always kind of go through life and we're like, whatever. Well, when Mercury's retrograde, it's like a reminder to be like, hey, look through your shit carefully. And it's like, oh yeah, I should be doing that anyway. So it's kind of like that for
kind of
me.
like with your color coordinating.
Exactly.
thing.
So I have a color thing too because I'm into numerology as well.
Do you know
Which will
numerology?
arrange
But
anything.
we're not gonna go into numerology today, but
I want to do that.
we could do a different episode of numerology. But yeah, every day is a different color, and each color represents something according to the date you were born in your own personal numerology. And it's just a reminder for me. So like on a red day, it's a new beginnings day. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna look for all the new beginnings today. And it's not like dogma. I'm not like I have to find a new beginning today.
Yeah.
But it's just like a fun thing. So people always talk about Mercury retrograde, and I don't know if you want to talk about this now or maybe I'll go through the planets and talk about it. We'll just talk about it now because we're already on it. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to be so anything that has to do with like that starts with like review, redecorate, repair, like things like that.
Doing something again.
It's actually it helps that aspect of it because it's what Mercury in retrograde means is to go back and fix something that should have been done properly the first time
Instead of starting something new.
yeah, and so if you start something new, it probably is going to go bad. It might go bad according to astrology. It's better to go back and fix something new or reunions, like old relationships that maybe never got closure. A lot of people find closure during that period of time. So there's a lot of positive that comes from a Mercury retrograde. And
Regrets.
then probably go back and review your regrets and repair them. Yeah.
I wonder what's the history of astrology. Like, who decided each
I'm
planet?
glad you brought that up.
Perfect.
So the ancient Babylonians, oh gosh,
Oh, okay.
at one time it was regarded as the science, but that was because like we're all bored and trying to make sense of life. Maybe not even bored, but you're just like, what's the point of my being here, right? And we're all kind of doing that still. But back then they didn't have a lot to go off of. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have a lot of research and studies. They didn't have a lot of science and hardcore facts and things that have been proven yet. So they started studying the sky and they noticed that seasons, like it's colder when these stars are in the sky and it's warmer during when these stars are in the sky. So when you see like the signs, they're like, oh, when this star sign Cancer, and they made stories so that they could remember this when the stars were in the sky because it would take a full year for them to see it again. So they're like, when that's in the sky, it's warmer. It's the start of summer. And so that's kind of how our calendar year started, was by them recognizing that there's certain stars in the sky and constellations and creating months to go by it. There's a whole bunch of redos on the calendar after a while, probably because they did it during Mercury retrograde. Am I right?
Probably.
But,
Dum dum.
but yeah.
Yeah, because I heard that there was like a whole nother sign that apparently is now a new sign.
Oh yeah, and if you're born after 2009, I guess like all the signs are shifted. So I don't know. I can't keep up, guys. But look it up for yourself. If it doesn't have to do with 1986 and Scorpio, then I didn't look it up. Okay. But yeah, back then they would study that. There was also so people went by that for a while because they would kind of predict things that would happen. They would notice certain patterns of people being born under those signs, acting certain ways. So they kind of started creating generalizations. Then also medical doctors, before there was advanced medicine, back then if you had an ailment, they would just like kind of treat it on the spot. They'd be like, oh, your arm's shitty, like take this, and this. And they didn't really record anything. But the astrology doctors, they did start recording things because they wanted to know in depth, like everything, like when were you born, and they would chart it to the stars. And even though their diagnosis maybe wasn't that accurate from the stars, that was the beginning of recorded medical history, which they still use today. Like they look at your history now before they prescribe you something. And that was the first record of doctors actually doing that. And it actually provided a lot of information that helped them properly diagnose people in the future. So that's really cool. And like there's a lot of little things left over that were started back then by astrologers, but basically it's all centered around the Earth being the center of the universe. So when they discovered that it wasn't, it kind of made their theories and things fall apart. And there's a lot that's not proven. Obviously it's not hard science. And then when Isaac Newton came along,
I was like, what?
He
Isaac
fucked it up. He was like, yo, I think actually physics could explain a lot of this. And then he had like some pretty good evidence to support that. And then science started switching over and they were like, fuck astrology. And then there was like one last astrologer that was like, no, this is the science. And he got pretty misproven in court, and so they like all the other scientific community like made a laughing stock out of him, and then anyone that tries to make it actual science now gets laughed at.
Damn.
But
because I did discover it through CoStar, like when I was putting in my info into that app, it ended up saying that they go based off of a specific type of astrology, and I didn't even know that there were other types. I was like, what?
I didn't know there were other types either.
Yeah, like in the settings, it's like we go. I'll look it up. We can continue, but it literally says in the settings like we go based off of this type.
And then there's the Asian ones too. Like I'm a snake. What do you guys?
Oh yeah, I'm a tiger.
Oh, sweet.
I forgot.
The Chinese astrology.
Yeah.
It's called the house system.
What's your year?
91. When I was little, there was this Chinese restaurant in Mexico where we would go eat, and they had the calendar like on the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Goat.
I'm a what?
Goat. Greatest of all time.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Dope.
Sounds like me.
What year?
91.
91.
You were 90?
89.
89.
Oh, so you're a snake too.
Yes. I'm also a snake.
Damn, you're a young ass bitch.
I'm not that young. Probably people listening are way younger than me.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're not that young, what am I?
Yeah, we're not that young, but we're at a point
man.
that is beautiful.
Yeah,
I like
actually,
it
I
better
do-
now than when I was young.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Did
I
you
do
ever
agree with that.
actually go based off of certain things because of astrology, like when you were growing up?
So right now when you were talking about it and you're like, oh, like people that are into astrology get laughed at and stuff, I was thinking and I was like, man, there's people that make so much money from it. And like laughing to the
believers.
bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at that point, who cares who's laughing? I think we're very fortunate to be born in a time and live in a time where people can have different ideas and people can believe in different things. And maybe like, I don't know if it's because we live here, but even when I lived in Mexico, it was very common for people to know like your sun sign and like, oh, what are you? And like, I grew up being an Aries and I always knew that. And even, do you remember Walter Mercado?
Yes.
Yes. So, okay.
He
So in
was like
Spanish,
a staple in our culture.
in Spanish TV, there's this guy named, there was this guy named
Rest
Walter
in peace.
Mercado.
Rest in peace.
No, he's still alive.
What?
Yeah, Netflix just made a documentary about
The
him.
Mandela effect gotcha.
Yeah, Netflix just
Literally everyone was like, rest in peace, Walter
Is he
Mercado.
dead? They just made a documentary
Girl,
about him.
yeah,
Look
but he
it up.
died. He's dead. That's why I'm like, rest in peace,
Me
man.
just finding out he died.
I think you just found out he died.
Oh no, that is so sad.
Yes.
Okay, well
He's alive in her heart, okay?
Yeah,
Shit.
he's
Wrong
like
one.
he's a. I'm gonna say he is until I get proof that he passed away. Is he dead?
Girl, he passed.
When?
November of 2019.
Oh, so
Oh,
recently, I mean, like within
dude.
the past year.
I know, dude. When I saw this, I literally like my heart stopped for a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, mucho, amor."
Yes. So basically, he was this guy who tried to be an actor in Spanish TV. He's Puerto Rican. He was Puerto Rican. And he was really into astrology. So he would tell people like, oh, you're a Scorpio, this, and that. And like on
You've
set,
seen his
right?
face.
Yeah.
And then when people were like, oh, that is so interesting. Like, hey, we need 5 minutes to fill the morning show. Can you just do that real quick on TV?
This guy, you've seen him.
That's
He's
what he looks-
fabulous.
Yes,
He is
so
really
fabulous.
And this is in a time where like being gay wasn't acceptable, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, we have 10 minutes to fill the morning show. Can you just like do it on TV? And he was like, oh, like Aries, you're doing this, and Leo, you're doing that today. And like he was always just very flamboyant in a time where that wasn't accepted
Yeah.
in the 80s, 90s. And everybody started calling the network and being like, we love him. Like, we want to see him tomorrow. Like, we need that of him. And so he grew super successful and ended up with his 1 hour show eventually, just doing astrology for an hour on Spanish TV, which in Hispanic culture, Catholicism is like super strong.
Yep.
And so he was the one person that was doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought of him when you say like, well, people were laughing at astrologers, and I'm like, he made so much money from that.
You know, and also, so there's a part of my brain when I'm like, okay, what part of this? Because there's a lot of like accuracies where I'm like, what made someone come up with that then? But when you look at like how like the moon influences the tide and stuff, and you look at how everything in the universe came from the same place, right? Like everything's made of the same matter, and everything, any matter that ever existed is in the universe. And so we all came from there, and then each thing influences another thing in the universe, right? And anything that's closest to you is influencing you more than the things farther away. So the moon is the closest to us. It influences our tides. It influences women's menstrual cycles. It influences...
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You have a cycle like the moon.
And that's proven. Like that
yeah.
actually is scientifically proven. It does affect that. So, and what affects it? Like what's making the moon? Like it's an energy, or I don't know what it is scientifically speaking, but it's affecting us. So if you look at how the things in the sky and the energy there is affecting you, then it's not far-fetched to believe that when you were born, the things that were in the sky and that were closest to the earth at that time maybe affected you, and like on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
Well, and even the way you're saying it, like everything is energy. That's a scientific fact. That's physics. Energy is energy, right? And we are all, energy cannot stop existing. So even me pushing this, you get pushed, and then eventually something happens, and the energy keeps transmitting over and over and over. So it's the same thing with the energy that the stars and the moon gave you at whatever point. I always think, why not believe in it if it hasn't been proven
Wrong.
and correct?
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's what
Like, it's
where I'm
fun.
at too.
Yeah,
like I feel
it's
like
fucking
no
fun.
one knows.
Don't be so like
No one
salty,
knows.
you
Some
know?
people have fun.
Yeah.
And so it's more fun to believe it than to
Than
not
not.
believe it,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when no one knows. Like
Yeah.
you don't know where you go when you die. You don't know if life just ends or if there's something else. You don't know if your soul goes back to a source. You don't know anything. You
I think the people that turn off people from astrology are those hardcore ones that are like,
Yeah, those
this
weird
is
me
blah,
out.
blah. Like what you were
Yeah.
saying earlier. It's like, oh, you're a whatever. I don't want to be friends with you.
I was going to say, I think those people are actually not the hardcore people, because as a hardcore astrology believer, I'm going to name myself, I understand that you have a whole chart. You're not just a Sagittarius. You are all of the signs
true.
to some degree.
They want to be hardcore.
Yeah, they want to be hardcore. That's like, you're Scorpio, period. Like, oh my God, I can't deal with you. Like, okay, well then you obviously don't know what you're talking about, because there's so many faces to a person.
True.
And so many things that are different about them, you know? So I don't think those are the true hardcore people. I think those are probably the people that are maybe just had a bad experience, and now they're like labeling everyone who's the same sign under that.
Right.
True.
I think it's a fun date thing when you date someone new. Like, what's your sign? And then you guys read
Yeah.
it together. Yeah, that's always fun.
When you get into a chart, oh my God,
Oh,
you're
it
going to be
gets
like,
so
what's
accurate.
everything. Like,
Exactly.
What time? Ask your mom what time you were born, and I need to see your birth chart. I mean, your birth certificate, because she's lying.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like that.
I'm not like that. That's not
It's
the star
because
said.
of like the other things, the planets where they are, and like
Oh yeah, because the app ends up telling me like Capricorn and Venus, or I don't know what else. And, I'm
and
like,
then
what?
there's the houses that are the what area of life that
That's
it's
what
affecting.
I was saying, that the app is, they go based off of a house system.
Yeah, so yeah, your first house is the house of personality. It's your identity, your social identity, your appearance. The second house is the house of money, so it's your self-esteem, money, possessions, self-respect. The third is the house of communication. It's your information gathering. So let's say you have like Mars is in your communication, and it's always like aggressive communication. Or let's say your stomach's in HelloFresh because they sponsored our show today.
I wonder
And
what sign HelloFresh is. We should tweet at them and ask them.
probably an Earth sign.
We
'cause
can
it's
find
all
out
organic.
What time the
life.
company was made.
So HelloFresh, if you enjoy healthy meals and you want to cook them, but you're like, I don't know how to cook or make my meals pretty, HelloFresh is for you. It's delicious. They offer like so many recipes to choose from each week. I like that they have specific diets too that you can like request, and you
Family
don't have to.
size?
They have different sizes, family pack,
Full
individual,
family size for yourself.
single, very single people. Jess. It saves you time. HelloFresh cuts out stressful meal planning and grocery store trips so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes or even 20 minutes with their quick recipe options. Sustainable HelloFresh. Pre-portioned ingredients means there's less prep for you and less food waste. And they give back, okay? HelloFresh donated over 2.5 million meals to charity in 2019, and this year is stepping up their food donations amid the coronavirus crisis. So I personally love their salads. I've never really been a salad person, but I tried this one bomb-ass salad that I can't remember the exact name of right now, but I think it was a cotija salad.
Oh my god, I can eat a whole block of that.
It's so good. I don't even really eat cheese, but if you want to see for yourself, you could try out America's #1 meal kit. Go to hellofresh.com/80bigmood and use code 80bigmood, that's 80bigmood, to get a total of $80 off, including free shipping on your first box. Additional restrictions apply. Please visit hellofresh.com for more details. Again, go to hellofresh.com/80bigmood and use code 80bigmood to get a total of $80 off, including free shipping on your first box. Additional restrictions apply. Please visit hellofresh.com for more details.
That's right. And as you're enjoying your HelloFresh meal, how about you keep yourself entertained with a fun and exciting puzzle game like Best Fiends, which is a mobile puzzle game app. And guys, you guys know how much I love Best Fiends. I've been addicted to this game for many years now, and I'm proud to say that. And what this game is, it, like I said, it's a unique and exciting puzzle game. So it ends up feeling like a brain exercise a little bit, because you have to use these adorable, cute little fiends, these little characters that each fiend ends up having like a special power that helps you finish that puzzle. So you have to kind of like play around with which fiends would actually be best for you to defeat those slugs. And then they have these beautiful graphics, like the actual, because mobile app games, they usually have like kind of crappy like graphics. It's like, oh, this is just an app. But no, Best Fiends, it's really beautiful graphics, and also they update their app all the time. So they have like different events for the particular times of the year, and so they're constantly keeping the app updated, which means I never get bored of this app. So Best Fiends has thousands of levels already, with new levels, events, and characters added every month. It's hours of fun right at your fingertips, and you can even play offline, which is my favorite thing ever, because sometimes you don't have service, and during those times, it's perfect because you can still play offline. With over 100 million downloads and tons of 5-star reviews, Best Fiends is a must-play. Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Fiends, Best Fiends.
Yay.
Think of me when you play.
So I was going to go through all the houses, but it's pretty boring, and I don't think you're going to retain all that information. The things that I found that were most interesting, though, on the birth chart that I didn't know before, maybe you knew this before, but did you know that like when you look at the birth chart, like that circle like this, and it's going to be in like different quadrants, if your planets, and you'll see like all these different planets, if they're mostly in the northern hemisphere, that means you'll deal with a lot of your growth and like problems and things that you have to, all your lessons that you're going through more publicly, like in the public eye. And if
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And if the planets are in the southern hemisphere, then you'll deal with your growth more privately. Didn't know that.
Mine are probably way at the top.
I thought mine were
with
way
you. Ours.
Same.
More jobs,
Right?
For sure.
How do you find out?
It's in your birth chart.
Wait, but like
I
where?
need my birth chart.
I know.
I'm
We're all looking
sad.
at our birth charts.
You want to use my phone?
I'm like, but where? But like where?
I don't
Let me
think
see.
CoStar
they don't
doesn't
have
have
it?
the chart, but if you go to Cafe Astrology or Astro.com,
Oh, I gotta look at this.
yeah, you can actually see the
Actual chart.
your chart.
Yeah.
Then also, if your planets are more on the left side, you live more like a freedom life, like free will. And then if they're more on the right side, it's more fate based. Not saying that you don't have free will, but just a lot of things were destiny. Whereas the left side, everything is more like a blank canvas. Like you can create.
Is it the whole
Your
left
life.
side? Because then you could be on the southern left.
Yeah. So public.
Or right. Yeah.
So private. Yeah. Private. And yeah, exactly.
Private fate.
Private fate or public.
So I'm public,
Freedom.
kind of, well, more in the fate. But really
Well, you'd
close
have to
the
see.
middle.
You'd have to see your chart where all the planets are.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
that's a lot of work.
I know. Well, it's not a lot of work.
You just
They
look
do
at it.
Yeah, you just
It
input
just
your
sounds like
information.
a lot. Like
Yeah.
when you don't know, like well, not when you don't know, but when you're not into it, like I'm sure we didn't just start and we were like, we know
Yeah.
everything. You know, it was like, oh, I'm an Aries sun, cool. And then it was like, but why am I like this? And then you like kept looking and kept looking. I actually got reached out by an astrologer. So she reached out to me, she followed me, and she was like, what's your birth, like what are your main three? And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. She's like, what time were you born? And I told her, and she was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And then I was like, oh, really? Cool. And then this was like a while back. Her name's Diana. And so her Instagram is One Love Astrology. So she was like, oh, can we, like, I want to read you your birth chart. Like, you have such an interesting birth chart and I would love for you to get to know yourself better. And I was like, sure, like, yes, let's do it. And I was so shook because she actually does this for work, right? So like you can hire her and she'll read you your birth chart, like what it means to you and stuff. You can do it, but like this is what she does. And I have it on my YouTube channel. Like she read the whole thing and like expressed everything. And I was like, why did you reach out? And she's like, well, when I follow people and like I'm interested because there's like their life story or this or that, like I want to know more about them. And it's funny because until this day, we kind of became friends. Till this day, like, well, I'll say something on one of my vlogs where I'll be like, oh, my mom used to sell gold when like my parents divorced to put like food on the table and stuff. She like reached out to me and she was like, that makes so much freaking sense because you're this and you're that. And like your mom selling the gold and this, it's crazy how in depth astrology can get and how much of a life story it can say.
Wow.
Following.
So you're probably on the fate side.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And the cool thing is like, it's not necessarily like, oh, it's truth or it's a complete lie.
Yeah.
It's more of a roadmap of who you are meant to be by the stars.
Oh.
And if you follow that and you feel it and you fulfill that, you're going to feel in alignment with yourself. So for example, I feel in true alignment with my birth chart. Like I feel like I'm on the right path, like with my career, with my love life, with myself. And because of that, I don't feel out of place, you know? So when you see what you might have trouble with, you think to yourself, well, in my birth chart, it says I might have trouble with communicating in relationships. So then you can go out and like seek therapy because you know you'll have that trouble.
Yeah.
You can kind of have a roadmap of how to make your life a little bit easier.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think what got me really into it, because like you, when I first read the generic descriptions, I was like, that's not me. Like, it's always like, Scorpio, you're like mysterious, you're obsessed with sex and death. And I'm like, what? I don't even like those things like, at all. And then like later, like going more into depth, I was like, oh, I like this aspect of my sexuality, and I like this. I'm fascinated by not death, but like what happens after death, or like, you know, what do certain religions believe, and like I was more fascinated with that than like the actual like death part. Yeah. And then also death in tarot cards and symbolism is like rebirth. It's like you end a certain part of your life or a certain chapter, and you're good at like starting new chapters. So I almost always get the death card whenever someone reads my cards.
Oh, wow.
So they're like, new cycle, rebirth.
Wow.
I'm like, all right, well, there you go.
I had a tarot card reading reading recently.
Yeah?
randomly on
What
the
did it say?
Tuesday card.
Were you happy?
This girl that she's a fan that reached out on Twitter. She's like, I do tarot card readings.
That's how it starts, girl. And then
Cool.
you become friends with them, and then you're like, you have a tarot card
You're like,
reading
tell
lady.
me more, girl.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm a beginner. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. It's 3 a.m. Fuck, let's do it. You know? And it was fun. Like it's just something that's fun. She's like, well, give me 3 questions. You can be vague or whatever, and then I'll see what the cards pull for you. And this is what the spirits feel. She's like, I have to like meditate first, and the spirits will come to me and they'll help me pull the cards for you. That was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I want to go to like a
person.
Yeah.
Reach out to my friend Diana.
yeah.
I'll tell her to reach out to you. She's so cool and she's so knowledgeable. I love her.
God, when you say reach, like I'll tell her reach out to you. I think she's gonna appear in a smoke.
No, she's actually like a real person. Like she's really knowledgeable though. And I love her because she was like, I want to be like Walter Mercado. And then I was like, bitch, yes, like pursue your dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's certain certain religions that get kind of, you know, iffy about tarot cards and spirits and stuff, because
Yes.
like for me, I don't know, this is kind of, I don't know if it's superstitious or because I was raised Catholic or whatever, but I can't do the Ouija board. I feel like there's like something negative. It's very like
yeah.
there's a darkness in it, and that I'm like,
Was it
ugh,
scary?
can't do
I did it once
Can't do
when
it.
I was like 10. We had like me and my cousins. We had a Ouija board. And I was 10, so the only thing
I don't think the spirits play with kids, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's fine. Like, well, I mean, it didn't matter because the only thing I asked was, "Am I going to be taller than my cousin Sandy?" Like, yes, I am taller than her. Fuck you, Sandy.
Spirit was like, let me just get in here really quick. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
The spirits are like, did I lie?
The spirit's like, "Oh, fuck it. Here, you're 10 years old. Just
Wouldn't
take
the
it."
spirits want to mess with kids because they're easier to like?
I think
Possession.
kids are cute. I mean, pure. You know,
they
like
can't be influenced
I
as
mean, they
easily.
could be, but like when you think about all the kids who have imaginary friends, I think that those are spirits.
Oh,
I tried. I couldn't. I couldn't
Yeah.
summon one.
I couldn't either.
I mean,
You wanted one?
go that
No,
way.
I wanted an imaginary friend.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. I wanted an imaginary.
spirit bitch.
No, no, no.
I am not.
I was trying to summon it.
I was trying to create.
She's all speaking in tongues. She's like,
Well, you know the crazy thing is when you speaking. You guys, I'm breaking down your set. Speaking
Come
in
back,
tongues.
Stacey.
Sorry, because you talked about no summoning spirits. I believe in that.
I was talking about imaginary friends.
Okay. Well, the speaking in tongues thing is like a Christian thing too. So then that's where
Yeah.
like Christianity and like spirituality kind of collide, and it gets a little bit blurry because it's like, how do you believe in speaking in tongues?
True.
But you know, because I'm personally someone that considers herself like spiritual and Christian. Like I do believe in God, and I don't know, like I sometimes wonder to myself, like, well, what do I really believe in? But I always pray and I always say to myself and to my God, like, everything that I question and every like tarot reading, every astrology, like guide me closer to you. You know, like if it's a tarot reading, let it be you that's speaking to me. And that way, like I'm closer to it. And it's a way of communication that way, you know, instead of like a random spirit dropping in and being like, all right, what are we feeling
Yeah.
today? You know what I mean? Like
The intention.
what's going on?
Random spirit.
She's pissed that you called her and like, fuck, man, stop.
That's Gina as a spirit.
Yeah, it's me as a spirit. Like, what the fuck do you want, dude? No,
You weren't specific when you summoned.
Yeah.
Hate when this happens.
At least when you set the intention and you're like, this is the one spirit, the highest spirit I believe in that I want to channel, then that way you're more in tune with it, you know? Because
Yeah.
I get it all the time. Like in my comments when I talk about it, they're like, well, don't you believe in like God? Because I'm also very vocal about the fact that I'm grateful for everything I have. And I don't think you have to explain yourself to anyone, but getting in depth about my personal beliefs, I do believe that these are all tools you can use in order to understand yourself better, in order to have a closer relationship with your higher power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it's like if you read your birth chart and it resonates with you, isn't that awesome? Like you just had some self-discovery and you're like, I do that. Oh, I should work on that. You know, that's really cool. And if it doesn't resonate with you, then then fuck it.
No
like
harm
you
done. You didn't lose anything.
Exactly. You didn't lose anything.
I think if it doesn't resonate with you, you have the wrong
birthday.
because
it has to resonate
I
with
I
you.
have never met anyone who does not resonate with their birth
When I
chart.
was little, I used to think I was I got separated from my twin, so maybe I got my twin's birth time.
This bitch is like summoning demons and like
She's like, I got a twin somewhere.
I know I do. I have a photo and it proves it.
I'm summoning my twin that died at birth.
I do.
A photo? What? You have a photo?
I talked about this before. It's a photo. They did like a photo effect to make two of me
Like a
on
Photoshop?
my baptism photos.
Maybe that's what they told you.
That's what they told me because one dress laps over the other dress.
Oh.
So I'm like, that's proof. I have a twin out there. I know I
my
do.
God, there's an evil
But my
twin.
mom swears that I don't. So.
I think you're pretty like out there on the internet. She'll find you.
Hopefully.
or she's
Throw
looking
her out.
over you somewhere.
Oh no, that's sad.
Oh.
Your imaginary friend.
I mean,
She didn't come to me.
the
so.
other one's more sad to me because her mom just abandoned her.
Oh, that is
So I'm
sad.
like, okay, maybe she's looking over you. Anyway, if she exists. The last thing I wanted to talk about, because I was like, I don't know if you know this one, this was new to me, was the nodes. Do you know the nodes?
Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar, but only because Diana told me, not because I know.
Okay.
But I think I'm in the north node.
Okay, so you have
Maybe?
everyone has a north and south node.
Oh, just kidding. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm like, I have
like
one?
on your birth chart, sometimes they only show you one, but the other one is 180 degrees from it. So that's what sign it's in. But basically, wherever your north and south nodes are, your south node is where you came from, like what comes naturally to you, who you were as a child, who you were since birth. You know, that's where you came from. Your north node is where you should aspire to be to have the most growth. So from going from south to north is the most growth you could achieve in your life. So for me personally, and you'll just have to look at your birth chart for yours, but my south node, so where I came from, is in Libra, which means it's like the peacemaker, the lover, the artist.
That's you.
Right? That's like a natural, like peace, harmony, balance, that kind of thing. So that's like been there, done that. If I want to stay there, that's cool. You just won't achieve that much growth. My north node is actually in Aries. So it's the warrior, the pioneer, courage, will, fighter, fierce. And I'm like, that's true. I do lack a backbone a lot of the times. Like it's hard for me to like stand up and fight, you know, and like be a warrior. So it was just something to think about because I had never heard that before. I had never even like noticed there was a node. Node. Yeah.
You should also reach out to Diana, especially
want
because you
to.
like it. I'll introduce you to her.
Okay.
Do you guys
Yeah.
want to see Diana on an episode?
Right? Honestly,
Bring
you
her
should.
on.
She will like
Yeah.
school all of us.
Oh
like
my
'cause she knows
God.
everything, and like she'll literally be like, "Give me your birth charts before we even start," and then she'll read
Hey.
all of you to
She
death.
watches this episode. She's like, that's cute.
These dumb bitches.
Yeah, she'll be like, "Bitch, you should have just called me. Like, what are you doing today?"
They were bringing in Babylonians and shit.
Put me on speakerphone right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's fun, and I do even like seeing the similarities in your friendships. For example, like my girlfriends, the ones I hang out with the most, like we're all into this. So reading and seeing their birth charts and seeing how they align with mine and how we all have a role in each other's lives and the friendship, it's really interesting to think about because it makes sense. Like we all have
and partners too.
yeah, for sure. Like my boyfriend is a water sign. I don't know his rising because he doesn't want to tell me his birth time. His family doesn't believe in this.
Is he Asian?
No, he's Mexican.
Oh,
through and
'cause-
through.
so there's a Chinese superstition that, or like it comes from feng shui, but it's basically like you should never give anyone all of your birth chart details because then they can control your life or they can hold something over your fate and destiny and
Whoa.
stuff. Yeah. So there's that. I don't
It
know if
happened to
people
my
believe in that.
family. Like she took something that belonged to one of my family members as like an object of their possession, wrote down
some
all their
voodoo
birthday.
stuff?
Yeah, some voodoo
That's
shit.
black
dude.
magic.
It was wild.
Yikes.
Yeah, she was crazy.
And she cast a spell. It's coming to her times 3 then.
Yeah, right. And she tried to like, oh, why don't you come over and visit me? I'm like, not today, Satan. No, thank you.
Jeez.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Well, anyway, what were you saying about your boyfriend?
Oh yeah, well he's a water sign.
Okay.
And so for example, me knowing that he's a water sign, he is very in tune with his emotions. He is very much able to communicate his feelings, and things that me as a fire sign would be like, are you kidding me? Like, that's what bother you? He's like, yes. And this is really painful and we should talk about it. And so I, as a fire sign, have to sit down and be like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's introduce this. Like, because I know that about him, I know how to not treat him, but like how to cater to his feelings.
To communicate.
Better. Yeah. Instead of if I was dealing with another fire sign, or if I was dealing with someone else, like my sister, she's another fire sign. Her and I, we go at it, not disrespectfully, but just like, I told you to do this, I told you to do that, blah, blah, blah. All right, then, bye. And like, I know she can handle the heat that way, where
The heat.
yeah, as opposed to my boyfriend, he's like, why are you being so rude and mean? And I'm like, I'm literally just talking, you know?
What's a Taurus?
Taurus
Is an earth sign, I think.
yes.
Interesting. Because he sounds like a water sign.
Wait,
Maybe
actually, I
he's a
can look
water
right
sign
here.
rising.
Yeah, an earth
maybe.
sign. Yeah.
Or a moon, which is his true identity, which you will know. If you know his birth time, we can find out.
What's
Yeah.
interesting to me is that like every long relationship I've had, it's like, okay, let's say astrology's not real or whatever. Then how come like for some reason
Then why do I?
Virgos, then why? Why do Virgo men love me so much? Well, my longest relationships have been Virgos. Like my last 5-year one was a Virgo, and then Steve's a Virgo, and they just like, I don't know, it's like I'm like this, like water, and then they're like this, like
Yeah,
steady,
right.
like earth. Like I can just crash my waves on them. They're like whatever. Like then they give me a hug after, and it's fine.
cool.
Whereas I dated an Aries guy, and then he's like, "What you mean this?" And I'm like, crash my water onto his fire, and then he's drying up all my water with his, whatever
Attitude.
What happens
Fire.
when it's two fire signs? It's just,
It burns down,
burn the
Gina.
house.
It fucking
You
burns to
you
the
get on
ground.
like a house on fire.
Remember?
Nope.
It burns down. Well, or you have a lot of power as a couple. Like if both people
I
are
like that.
if both people are like willing and want to be in that relationship, you're a powerful couple.
Oh.
I can't think of a fire sign couple, but I'm sure there's like a badass one.
Tight.
Yeah.
neat.
I've never dated fire though, so I wouldn't know.
You would or haven't?
I haven't.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think I will at this point.
Yeah.
What's early September?
Isn't that Virgo?
Virgo, yeah.
Yeah, Virgo.
Oh.
Who's a Virgo?
Isaac's dad.
Oh.
Isaac's
How's
dad
that?
was a Virgo.
Fire and
I don't know. It was so long ago. It was like a lifetime ago. But it was not a very
Fun experience.
You can look up all those things too. They have like compatibility things, and it's weird when it lines up. It's like, okay,
I'm about to read something that doesn't match. I'm about to hurt my feelings tonight. I'm about to call one of you guys and cry. God damn it.
I did ask, for example, Diana, when she read my birth chart, I was like, oh, like, what do you think is a good date, like, sign to date? Because I was like, I've dated this, I've dated that. Like, they're all, it doesn't work out. And she did tell me that Cancer men are really good because they tend to be softer and they tend to be more understanding. And I was like, oh, okay, so just put up with the water, huh? And she's like, yeah, put up with the water.
but they're kind of sensitive.
Very much so. But once you understand that,
Yeah.
you're like, I appreciate you for the sensitivity you bring, as opposed to like,
it balances it out.
yeah, as opposed to somebody who's just gonna like run over your feelings and
Yeah.
disregard you and
Like
completely.
a Capricorn.
Yeah.
Oh
Who's
wait,
like, I
what's
just wanna
wrong with
work.
Capricorns?
The
Because
Capri-
Isaac's a Capricorn.
Capricorn
Fuck you, Isaac.
dudes, they're just very
I love you.
headstrong. I don't know.
Very headstrong.
Like if you like that, you like that. But they also tend to be more traditional, so they like their partner to be more domestic. You know, like traditional roles and stuff. I don't know. This is all generalities. Look up your own personal birth chart if you want your details on your life. And on that note,
Please put it in the comments.
yeah,
And tell us how
your
you
sign
feel
in
about
the
your
comments.
Yeah, tell us how you feel about your sign if you
Yeah.
agree with it.
And let us know if you want us to bring Stacey's friend Diana on the show. Maybe we'll
I
get
want
more
to bring her. I want to meet her.
yeah, she's so cool.
Yeah.
She's in
Thing.
Phoenix right now, but I'm sure she could get out
Zoom
here.
ass,
Zoom it. Zoom it.
yeah, Zoom episodes. And yeah, like let's talk in the comments. Let us know if you went to the birth chart and we were like, this is shit and my birthday's wrong, or if it was accurate for you.
And did you guess our signs right for those of you who are into it?
Our rising.
You
and
probably
our moon.
you probably thought we were our rising signs because that's what we're giving the world.
Okay.
Yeah. Subscribe, like us, comment, go to Stacey's Instagram, Twitter,
Our
whatever.
YouTube.
Jewelry.
Jewelry.
I'm wearing
Aw,
almost all of
thanks,
it.
guys.
This one right here. This one right
Bracelet.
here.
Cute.
This one.
I
this
love your
one,
bracelet. I keep
this
looking at it throughout the
one,
day.
And this one.
It's my jewelry shop, you guys. Apodaca Jewel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like my last name.
And
Thank
we'll
you
see
guys.
next time. Thanks for coming.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.